Ladies and gentlemen, this is now as good a time as any to talk about the imminent indictments of a really wonderful and amazing former top FBI official. And what can I tell you? This is just a couple hours ago in the New York Post. By pleading with top officials not to indict him for lying to FBI agents, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe's lawyers are asking for treatment that figures like Trump advisor General Michael Flynn didn't receive, notes Andrew McCarthy at National Review. This is actually a New York Post article. Flynn, quote, may very well have been confused and distracted in McCabe's excuse when McCabe and his boss, then Director James Comey, sent two agents to interview Flynn on his first day on the job. Hillary Clinton, by contrast, quote, got every courtesy by the FBI, scheduling her interview well in advance and permitting her to bring a phalanx of lawyers. But when Comey and McCabe ruthlessly pursued Flynn and several other Trump associates for minor offenses, McCabe is hoping for mercy, for the mercy he wasn't willing to offer others. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Whitaker, who was serving as the acting attorney general, stated that McCabe is going to get indicted imminently. John Yoo, former assistant deputy assistant attorney general under who was the attorney? Ashcroft under Bush. Okay. All of these people are saying that he's going, even Lawfare, the blog that, or the publication associated with James Comey, the editor of Lawfare's James Comey's friend, stated, okay, there's an impending prosecution of Andrew McCabe. His attorneys met last second with DOJ officials. Why is that? The reason is because they wanted to try to get the Justice Department, William Barr, not to indict him. The reason he's going to get indicted and not James Comey initially, John Durham is looking for information regarding the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute. That's the statute that I talk about in my Federalist article. That is the statute involving officials who defraud the United States government using agencies in a purpose they're not meant to be utilized. So the FBI, all of it, Brennan, Clapper, and Comey, what they did was they utilized the zeitgeist of the moment in Washington, D.C., and they said, well, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going on. We might have been infiltrated as a country. By infiltrated, they mean the Russians hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and there were Facebook ads, and there were a whole bunch of things. Now, to you and to me, this is not that big of a deal. But to disgruntled, pathetic, sad, angry Democrats who lost, they outspent Trump 2-1, $1.2 billion to $600 million. They set up and framed Trump with a Steele dossier that was complete and utter nonsense. They deceived FISA judges, and McCabe's name is on all of these FISA warrants. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason is not the U.S. Code 371, the endeavor to conspire and defraud Americans. That's what John Durham is looking at. John Durham is looking at a criminal endeavor of people to conspire. There's evidence. There's enough evidence of that. Okay? If you notice, President Trump stated numerous times, and if he was upset, he probably would have, Trump doesn't pull any punches. When Comey didn't get indicted, the first thing Trump tweeted was, you know what? You should really thank William Barr because he was so generous. Something along those lines. He was so forgiving. Comey's not out of the woods yet. The IG report is upcoming. The IG report is going to be released. McCabe's going to be indicted, whether it's before or after the IG report, I'm not sure. And Clinton's going to run. Yes, Clinton is going to run. They have nobody. They have absolutely, positively nobody. And so that is an issue where that's a whole other story. But all of this, look, none of these things happen in a vacuum. This wasn't just some kind of grandiose effort to have Beto O'Rourke win the 2020 nomination. None of these things take place in a vacuum. Andrew McCabe received hundreds of thousands of dollars, not from Joe Biden's a person associated with Biden's foundation, or Kamala Harris's foundation, or Warren's foundation. What's his name? I've stated it so many times. Terry McAuliffe was a Clinton money man. He was he was the Virginia governor, but he was very important for the Clinton Foundation. He gave Andrew McCabe's wife hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, if you haven't fallen asleep from this segment yet, okay, and you're still awake, this is actually really, really interesting and important. Like I continue to say, it's not, if he lied under oath, he might have actually gotten away with it in this climate. Because Comey got away with mishandling classified information. He basically wrote a diary entry, and Rod Rosenstein, who got away with a lot of his own. And Jeff Sessions allowed this to take place because McCabe was going after Sessions. Comey was able to say, well, look, I was utilizing my own diary entry to start to begin this investigation into Trump, even though James Clapper had already told Chuck Todd that there was no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. But they started an investigation based on Alexander Downer's gossip. They used a dossier purchased by Clinton. All of these things took place. We all know this. It was complete nonsense, but it makes a lot of sense to people who lost the election. What took place was Andrew McCabe should have recused himself. He didn't. That probably wouldn't have been enough to indict him in this climate. When people say also, they say, "Oh, you said she was going to get indicted." Yeah, after the election, she'll get indicted. In 2016, she should have. Any other president, any other politician, any other official would have received indictments. Any other official would have received indictments. What took place was, it was a cover-up. And they say, well, how can she run? How can she run if she's a criminal? How can she run if she's a criminal? It doesn't matter. It's going to be a replay of 2020. She's going to run, lose again, eventually get indicted. Once people like McCabe get indicted. Andrew McCabe lied under oath numerous times because Terry McAuliffe, a Clinton fundraising machine, gave his wife hundreds of thousands of dollars for her campaign. He should have recused himself from the Clinton email investigation and from the Russia probe, which was complete and utter nonsense. Trump never worked with Russia. The Russians never hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and we have no evidence of that. The only evidence we have is CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. The whole thing is the stupidest, dumbest propaganda spin on the planet. It is the most ridiculous and absurd. Like, the intelligence community, whatever, the three agencies, they're not even certain. They're not even certain. So you have a situation where we can go on forever regarding that. He lied under oath because he knew he should have recused himself. 9 minutes in, if you're still awake on this Labor Day, and I hope you had a great Labor Day. 9 minutes in. 9 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? He lied under oath numerous times against the law. And he had a reason to lie. Michael Flynn literally did nothing wrong. He wasn't a consultant to Turkey while he was, the judge, made that comment, and then people ran with it. He did nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong he did. He was indicted for lying to Peter Strzok, and Peter Strzok said, "We will stop Trump." And Peter Strzok was at his office one very special time with Lisa Page, talking about an insurance policy. The whole thing is complete and utter nonsense. The whole thing was nonsense. But he lied under oath. And then he said, well, you know what? I was allowed to leak information to the Wall Street Journal because James Comey told me I was allowed to do so. That's another reason that it's kind of hilarious. That's another reason that he's going to get indicted. James Comey has already offered to testify against McCabe. James Comey has stated, I never told him to leak information. So there you have it. James Comey was his boss. James Comey sits back and says, gosh, and he risks indictments with the FISA abuse issues. Carter Page should never have been investigated. I mean, the whole thing, if people on the left were honest and this took place, one of the reasons they're going to lose with Clinton again, and she's running again, just look at the current field. If you ask yourself, no, she's not running, well, then who's going to be nominee? Biden? I mean, of course not. Of course not. There's nobody there who can raise not even $1 billion. Trump is going to raise close to $2 billion. Okay? They need somebody well over $2 billion, $2.5 billion. This is about fundraising. There's a built-in base of support for Clinton, and there's already a draft Clinton campaign on Twitter. Check it out. Just go ahead and type in all the hashtags. Run Hillary, run, draft Hillary. When you're bored, if you have no life, like I do. Draft Hillary, run, Clinton 2020, Hillary 2020, whatever. There's all these new ones, too. Hashtag Hillary save us from more. Oh, you were right. The Russians did this too. Whatever. Okay? Look, the bottom line is this. You have a situation where very soon, because when Comey didn't get indicted, people were like, oh my God, nothing's ever going to happen. It's like, just relax. Andrew McCabe, his indictments are imminent. If McCabe doesn't get indicted, then it's just not a good situation at all. Okay? I mean, it's actually, you're talking about an existential issue for the United States government. Because then William Barr will be very similar to in other sessions. He'll still be better, but he'll be very, very similar. And then you have just top officials lying under oath with impunity. They have this neuroses, this complex. They don't want to seem that they're going after anyone. They just don't want to seem like they're going after anyone because they don't want the media to be like, oh my God, Trump is forcing Justice Department officials to go after people. With Andrew McCabe, it's different. Even though McCabe should be charged and prosecuted and indicted for the same crimes as Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, all of them. All of them. They committed the same things. They tried to set up and frame President Trump with no evidence. CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. They used a dossier purchased by Clinton. So, ladies and gentlemen, he lied under oath. He lied under oath about leaking information, and he leaked information for self-serving purposes, which is the key point. So, again, if you've lasted this long and haven't fallen asleep, he leaked information for self-serving purposes. He leaked information solely, the only reason is to make it seem that he was tough on the Clintons. The reality, however, is that he wasn't tough on the Clintons. The Clinton Foundation probe, that ended, or that's ongoing, but that was conducted in the same manner as the email probe, which was, hands off. Don't charge anyone. There's a separate system of justice for the Clintons. Do you think that they're going to just imagine something? All of this taking place, Clinton essentially purchasing her Russian hacking myth, and then she endorses. Can you imagine Clinton endorsing anyone? Can you imagine Hillary Clinton speaking at the Democratic convention for someone else? I mean, can you imagine that? So all of these things are taking place. It's September now? October, November, December. You're going to have the political landscape will be 100% different. And they're going to think that it'll be good for them, but the reality is it's going to be fantastic for every Trump supporter. I'm a Trump supporter. You're very likely either an independent or a Trump supporter or a progressive who still sticks with me and who just, enjoys this because it's a guilty pleasure. Because I represent a viewpoint that a great many people on the left actually possess, but don't want to talk about and don't want to, for fear of, I don't know, what other people might think. But give me your thoughts below. Whoever you are, if you watch this, I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. Give me your thoughts below. Andrew McCabe's indictments are imminent. Clinton will eventually run before January or possibly January. And once McCabe gets indicted, you're talking about a whole new ball game. You're talking about Comey, everyone else fearing prosecution of their own. And John Durham will utilize that as the motive and intent needed to prosecute under 18 U.S. Code 371. And I talk about that in the Federalist. That is below in the pinned comment and below in the description section. Check out right this second H.A. Goodman's other channel. I talk about a Hollywood celebrity who wants to know the identities of people who are hosting a fundraiser in Beverly Hills. I love this. You have Hollywood trying to keep Beverly Hills in line, which is hilarious. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you.